Jenny Taft with Skip Bayless and Shannon Sharp. How are you guys doing today?
Then it's a great day up in the hills. Skip, it's a great day up in the hills. How's it down there? Is everything okay?
Way down here in the flats, my humble abode, you up there in your palatial estate. All I know, Shannon Sharp, is that we got a big quarterback controversy in Green Bay. We got an even bigger quarterback controversy in Philadelphia. So that means my Dallas... Wait a second. We got a controversy, too. Come on, Jerry, get that side. Yeah,
exactly. You talking about everybody else's controversy, you got one brewing.
Yeah, well...
Definitely does. We do have a few quarterbacks to discuss today, but as Skip previewed, I think we should discuss Aaron Rodgers and everything that's happening with Green Bay, because the Athletic's Bob McGinn covered the Packers for 38 years, and he had some interesting insights on why Green Bay could have drafted quarterback Jordan Love. McGinn writes that Matt LaFleur may have drafted another QB because he, quote, simply had enough of Aaron Rodgers' act. McGinn continued saying that the Packers wouldn't want Rodgers to, quote, become even more difficult to coach. Shannon, are you buying this about your guy?
No, Skip, because had Mr. McGinn, I don't know him, Skip, I'm sure you've known him, traveling in that circle over the extended period of time. You probably crossed this guy at some point in time in your storied career, but I don't know him. If he's covered the Packers for 38 years, I'm sure my brother would probably know who he is. But Skip, for me, for him to say they might have an if, I don't like that. If he wants to come out and definitively say one way or another, okay, I can live with that. But for me, Skip, for them to use a first-round pick on a quarterback and they move up to get him, sure, I'm sure it got Aaron Rodgers' attention. But what a waste would that be in order for you to try to gain a perceived power struggle over the quarterback that you just handed $120, $130 million that you're paying him $33, $34 million a year, and you gave him, what, Skip, $78, $79 million fully guaranteed. When I look at it, Skip, the Packers, they were 15th in rush yards, 16th in rush yard average. Drafting a running back in the second round, what if that has something to do about Aaron Jones? Because what we're starting to see, Skip, teams are really hesitant to hand out second contracts to running back. Now, we saw Zeke get one. We saw Christian McCaffrey get one. A couple of years ago, Todd Gurley got one. But more times than not, what we're starting to see, they're being hesitant or they're paying them less than what the franchise tag number is over an extended period of time. Skip, look. What has happened with Aaron Rodgers is that he's been so great, is that he's been able to take lesser tier talent, and that he had some great receivers throughout the course of his career. You know, Greg Jennings, Jordy Nelson. He had Donald Driver at the later stages of his career. James Jones led the league in touchdowns one year. Jermichael Finley before that neck injury. But other than that, Skip, what have they replaced him with? I was reading an article yesterday, Skip, and I didn't know this, and I know a lot of people don't know this. Aaron Rodgers, in his career, has only thrown one touchdown to a number one drafted, a first-round pick, Skip, tight end or wide receiver. Let that sink in for just a second. Not but one, and that's Mercedes Lewis last year. Skip, that is crazy. So what they've done is that they put all this, like, okay, Aaron, you do it. We're paying you all this money, you do it. And what is ticking Aaron Rodgers off is that he's done it for so long and they still refuse to go get him some legitimate help to go along with Devontae Adams. Skip, I don't believe this was about a power struggle. Do I believe this move ticked Aaron off? 1,000%. Because anytime you take a quarterback and you move up to select him, that raises the quarterback, that gets the quarterback's attention. But a perceived power struggle, and you're going to take a first-round pick, the guy that's not going to help you for an extended period of time, this makes no sense to me.
It makes complete sense to me. What have I tried to tell you, Shannon Sharp, for 3 long years here on Undisputed? I have been the lone wolf saying, time out. Aaron Rodgers is no longer Aaron Rodgers. He's in decline. 3 straight years, the stats have fallen. QBR falling, completion percentage falling. QBR last year was 54, which was the worst of his career, and his completion percentage ranked 21st in the NFL. And you can say this was an outlandish statement, but I've made it many times here on Undisputed. Given the pedestal that you put him on and others on Undisputed have put him on, Aaron Rodgers has become the most overhyped and overrated quarterback in the history of pro football. Given where you place him, and you never, ever give an inch that, wait a second, he's not what he used to be. Aaron Rodgers got to 1 Super Bowl and won only 1 Super Bowl almost 10 years ago. And I keep saying, show me the money, show me something. He's 6-7 in the postseason since that 1 Super Bowl run in which they were the worst wild card team. They were the road wild card team. And since then, 6 wins, and 5 of them are flawed, tainted, asterisk kind of wins in the postseason because he got to beat Joe Webb. Then he got to beat Kirk Cousins when he was really struggling in Washington, when Dak owned him, was 4-0 against him. And then there was the Dez Cauditt game. Then there was the Giants boat trip game when Odell led the receivers to South Beach to prepare for a game on the frozen tundra at Lambeau. And then there was the Mason Crossbar game at my stadium at Jerry World, in which Mason Crosby made 2 cross-country intergalactic field goals of 56 and 51 yards to save and win the game. And I'm saying, well, show me something, Aaron. And you can't. And Shannon, I tried to tell you so. And finally, the 2 men who now run the Green Bay Packers, Gutekunst and LaFleur, they're saying, we're not seeing it anymore. And listen, Bob McGinn, I don't know him, but I have crossed his path.
Okay.
And I know of him, Shannon. He is the ultimate source on the Green Bay Packers. He is the guru, the ultimate authority on all things Packers, knowing where all the bodies are buried. And when he writes, when Bob McGinn writes this paragraph that he wrote, and I'm going to read it in its entirety because it is potent. You should take this to your bank. So here's what he wrote. Public niceties aside, meaning they're all saying the right things about each other. Those things aside, my sense, this is Bob McGinn, is LaFleur, fresh from a terrific 13-3 baptismal season, simply had enough of Rodgers' act and wanted to change the narrative. With a first-round talent on the roster, Jordan Love, the Packers would gain leverage with their imperial quarterback. That's a shot. And his passive-aggressive style, which is very hard for management to deal with through social media and through his radio gig that he does. If the Packers do indeed want to become a running team next season, they surely wouldn't want Rodgers rocking the boat and becoming even more difficult to coach. So, again, I told you on Monday, there are reports in Milwaukee, they want to go running back. The key choice was not as much Jordan Love as it was A.J. Dillon in the 2nd round. Big banger. Yeah. The next Derrick Henry, 250 pounds who ran 4.5 at the combine, high carries, workhorse back. And I think they want to start letting him tote the rock and take the ball more and more out of Aaron Rodgers' hands before they put it in Jordan Love's hands sooner than later. And the final line that I would read is, it'll work for the GM and the coach only if Jordan Love can play. Well, Shannon, I told you going into the draft, I don't know about that. I didn't watch him enough. I have definitive opinions about a lot of quarterbacks, but I'm not sure about Jordan Love. And again, just for the record, Bob McGinn does huge pre-draft homework. Remember